Hi everybody, Michael Staver here. We are at the Defying Inequality, the Broadway concert. I'm sitting here with the one and only Jonathan Groff.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
I saw you in Hair, by the way, in Central Park.
You did. Excellent.
Excellent job.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. It was incredible. I was here performing with Spring Awakening, and then Hair was 2 songs after us, and so it was like felt like I was in a time warp. I didn't know what was going on. It was really exciting.
It's interesting because the timeline in Hair is certainly very 60s, and it's not quite as tangible what the timeline is in Spring Awakening.
Yeah. Well, it's 1891 for sure during the scenes, and then it's whatever the moment is that the show is happening.
And yet there's such it's got a contemporary edge too, which is a tough line to straddle.
Yeah, totally. It was certainly a tough line to straddle, and it took us a long time to figure it out, but it was so much fun to see everybody again tonight. The show closed in January, and I left in May, and so this was the first time that we've all gotten back together again since doing the show together. So it's
wonderful.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Now, are you going to be rejoining Hair?
I'm not. No, I'm not rejoining.
No, there was talk, I think, that you were thinking about it.
There was, yeah. I did it. Obviously, like you said, at the Delacorte this summer, and they move into their theater tomorrow to start teching for rehearsal. They open, I think, sometime in March. But yeah.
Now, I understand that you are a fan of a film that I worked on for over 3 years with Rick McKay, Broadway The Golden Age.
I was interviewed. I'm hoping to make the cut.
I'm sure you will.
Everybody, if you haven't seen Broadway The Golden Age, you have to see it. I literally have watched it like 5 times. It's so inspiring.
I think Broadway The Golden Age is probably one of the best history lessons in New York theater that you can get that out there.
Yeah. When I first moved to the city, I don't know why, I just saw it in a store and bought it, And
how about those extra features on the DVD?
I know, it's really amazing.
I think there's like a whole separate film just in the extras on the DVD as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really a treasure. It really inspired me in a huge, huge way.
I think I worked on about half of the interviews in that film, and there's like 100 interviews with these legends. And, and I say this all the time, and I love saying it because it's so true. I think I learned more about the history of New York theater working on that film over the course of about 3 years than I did in 20 years as a working actor.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's like the past word. It's like, history passed on from the people who were actually there. And it's so compelling.
And even if you're lucky enough to work in the industry a lot, I mean, I did shows for like 20 years, nonstop almost, but you don't necessarily get the history.
Yeah.
Even if you're lucky enough to work with some of these people that, are part of that golden age, you're not going to necessarily get the history, so it's good to have it documented.
Absolutely. And the unsung heroes of the shows that I've done, that I've experienced, are, other than that documentary, the dressers backstage at a Broadway show. If you get we have this dresser, Gail, at Spring Awakening, and she has the history. She's passing it from, mouth to ear. And that was an exciting thing. So other than the dressers and the Golden Age, you can't really get it anywhere else.
It's true. Now, this event is showing our solidarity for marriage equality.
Yeah, incredible. Wait,
it's a good thing.
Again.
Your song's playing.
The sun's shining. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of a cool thing. So were you happy with the results of the Academy Awards last night?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good to see Milk get a couple Oscars. I don't know if I'm getting jaded or what, but I was almost afraid that it wasn't going to necessarily get something.
Yeah, I know. Well, Slumdog Millionaire was like so huge.
The Dark, the big favorite.
Yeah, everybody's minds. But yeah, it was those speeches, that screenwriter that gave that speech, it was really quite
Justin Lance Black, yeah.
Yes.
It's funny because, and I love telling this too, I was raised Mormon and grew up in Sacramento.
Wow.
I have a family I love very much, and I'm having trouble trying to, remain on the same wavelength when we're such opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's really intense.
What about you? Were you raised in a conservative environment?
Yeah, totally was raised in a conservative community, and so New York is like...
Any particular denomination, religion?
My dad's side of the family was Mennonite, which is like it's like halfway between like Presbyterian and Amish. It's like somewhere in the middle. And I was raised Methodist, so a very like religious and conservative community. Yeah. That being said, though, that they were very open. They were very open, and I'm doing Spring.
Better than some.
Well, yeah, when I was doing the show off Broadway at the Atlantic Theater, I was doing Spring Awakening, which there's swearing and sex and blah, 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 blah. And my mom brought up a busload of people from Lancaster. Michael Mayer called it the Mennonite bus. And even though they weren't, I don't even think any of them, except for my dad, were Mennonite, but they called it the Mennonite bus. They loved it. They loved every second of it. Yeah, and these people that you wouldn't give them credit for being open-minded were moved by the show, and they got the issues, and they understood, and all, and they.
That's great. So you fared better than some.
Yeah, I was lucky.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We'll keep our fingers crossed that the Mormon Church or whoever doesn't pull something else, like messing with that Constitution about that Prop 8.
Oy.
Not a good thing.
Crazy in Milk, how the parallels between the what was it in Milk? Proposition
8 and Proposition 6.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
I grew up an hour and a half north of San Francisco when all that was taking place, and I was so sheltered from that. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything was going on, and it wasn't only until when I worked last year covering the re-release of the documentary The Times of Harvey Milk that I actually finally got my education to what in the hell was going on way back then with Proposition 6, and just unconscionable that could take place. But a great thing that after a few tries, it finally did go through, despite what happened.
That documentary is like...
You've seen it?
Yeah. I saw it.
I think both films are pretty damn powerful.
They really are, yeah. I saw the documentary for the first time like a year or two ago, and I was just like, I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know his story. I didn't know anything about that, unfortunately.
That's just like what I said about sometimes you don't necessarily get the history. Yeah. It's almost like you really have to go out of your way to...
But now there's Milk. It's the beautiful thing about a movie like Milk and getting all those nominations and winning some awards is that people are seeing that movie. Or if it's not in their hometown, they know a place to find it, or they can find it somehow.
Finally.
Yeah, totally.
Jonathan Groff, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hope to see you again. So long.